R&R gets you ready for tonight's game. The Shootaround.
Welcome back. San Antonio's sports star. I'd like to welcome on another star in the universe. Carolina Teague.
CT.
Spurs insider as the Rockets come to town tonight. Boy, we need a win tonight.
Can't hear her.
Carolina, we can't hear you.
There we go.
Are.
There we are. How y'all doing?
Great. And yourself?
I'm doing good. Probably one of the best weekends I've had in a really long time.
Why?
Because the Packers got eliminated from the playoffs.
See, Bear fan.
You see, yeah, that's a Bear fan talking.
It is the Bear fan talking.
Taking pleasure in the sadness of others.
See, but you know what? This is the thing, Carolina. That don't make the Bears better. This is what I was trying to tell Giants fans and Redskins, Washington football team fan. And then I had to check the Cowboy fans because they jumped in on it like, yeah, Aaron lost. I'm like, well, you still got your same. The Bears still have the same problems. No coach, no running game, no offensive line. Aaron Rodgers losing doesn't help any of that.
All that stuff is really cute, all the things that you said the other day. But the thing is, we are vindicated. I do feel like Chicago Bears fans are vindicated. He made the comments earlier this season that he owned us, which is fine and dandy. We had to swallow that pill.
Well, the 49ers own him.
Yeah, they
Exactly. And not only the 49ers, it's Robbie Gould, former Chicago Bear, one of the best accurate kickers in the NFL.
Yeah.
Highest scoring Chicago Bear in the NFL, which is kind of sad that it's a kicker, but either way, they still were vindicated. Green Bay Packers are out of contention. They're one and done. All that smack talk went out the window for nothing.
Here we go with the San Antonio Spurs. They sit at 13th place in the Western Conference. They are 2-8 in their last 10. They've lost 2 consecutive. They are only trailed by the Rockets, who are 14-33. And the Thunder, who continue to lounge around there at 14-33 as well. They race to the bottom. The Spurs doesn't feel like they're racing to the bottom, but here we sit.
Mm-hmm.
What do you expect tonight? Last time we saw the Rockets, didn't go well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it didn't go well, but I think I'm always the silver lining that's trying to say the positive things about the Spurs. One of the things that stood out to me of why the Rockets may have possibly won was because Trey Jones was out, Kelton Johnson was out, Doug McDermott, Devin Vassell, Derek White, they were all out due to COVID protocol. So that may be a huge factor as to why the San Antonio Spurs were losing that particular evening. And I think this time they're healthy. They may come back and they may take this win against the Rockets tonight. I think that's a big, huge possibility, especially since we didn't get to see a true matchup because of, how everything was with the COVID protocol.
It's fair.
Carolina Teague joining us as the shoot-around begins. The Houston Rockets in town. The last we saw the Spurs, now the last couple of games, to their credit, they played on the upper echelon of the Eastern Conference and they acquitted themselves well. Right. There were no blowouts, but there were no wins.
Very true. I mean, you played Philly. Like you said, they played some good teams. Played Brooklyn here at home.
Well, I'm trying to work us into a situation before we really dive into who we're going to play and who's going to start tonight.
Okay.
We see the Spurs with best intentions. They're trying to win, and they are still.
They're still what?
They're 5th worst in the entirety of the NBA.
Right.
So they have achieved a level of success or failure depending on which team you're on. Which now this team's about to round into form. We're going to get Zach Collins going to show up. As long as COVID doesn't rear its head again, this is going to be a healthy team that's going to win some basketball games. That showed us when this team's healthy, they can beat anybody, and they have stacked wins when everybody's playing. What's the point now? What's the point? Why? As we get better, and we're going to beat the Rockets, and we're going to hit the road, and here's what's going to happen. I can see the future.
Wait a minute. Are you changing your tone?
No, I'm just telling you the Spurs are going to get healthy. They're going to go on this rodeo road trip. Pop's going to treat this like a boot camp. They're going to beat some teams. They're going to come home and they're going to get hot, and they'll end up winning enough games to get themselves in contention to in the playoff game and then play themselves out and then draft yet again where they are.
14, 15.
That's all I'm saying. And here we go again. You can feel it coming.
Jimenez just quoted that you're coming to Team Tank. That's what I felt like.
Team Tank.
That's what I felt like, Rob. And you reserve the right to change your mind.
I do,
because of where we're at right now.
Because this has been a best effort kind of thing. If I was the Rockets or if I was the Thunder, I know there's an intent to lose. There is zero intent to win. We still are operating under the auspices that we're trying to win and get to the playoffs.
Well, and as they should. I think that's how they should operate. They're trying to develop their youth. They're trying to come together as a collective.
No, I don't think they're trying to develop their youth. That's not what we're trying to do.
I think so.
No, we're not. Josh Primo is playing Rio Grande Vipers.
But Vassell is young.
Yeah, because that's part of the development
Keldon's young. I consider all them young. I don't just consider just the rookies young. I consider like Vassell and Keldon. I think those guys are young. Okay. I think that's youth.
But I don't consider Derek White young, but I feel like everybody else, they're considered young.
Don't get me started on Derek White.
Let's know ourselves.
Started on Derek White. Yeah, let's know ourselves.
Let's get into the Spurs themselves. Let's look at who we're going to offer the Rockets as they do come to town.
Know yourself.
I was running through the six with my walk.
Now, I have not seen, or I don't expect, but Zach Collins is not on the injury list, so we might actually get a taste of Zach Collins.
No, he was assigned.
Back out.
Yeah, I told you that was going to happen.
Oh, that's
6th Street.
We will.
That was really frustrating to me because the last time Zach Collins was interviewed, he said that he felt confident that after Friday, which is this past Friday, he was going to come back and he was going to play for the Spurs. And then they reassigned him back to the G League. And it just kind of reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit where they do the bad boy making the band. And right when they think they're about to make an album,
the studio down.
They shut the studio down. And I feel like that's how Zach Collins is right now. Like every time he feels like he's going to go back to play for San Antonio, they shut him down.
Why are we continuing to talk about Zach Collins like he's Kevin McHale?
Because we need something.
We talking about Zach Collins way too much. He's not Tim Duncan. He's not Kevin McHale. Like, he's a guy.
Yes, he's a guy, he's the only guy. We've got other guys, but those guys don't get to play. You know what you're going to find out, Rob? When he gets back, you're going to find out you like Diop more. You're going to find you like him more. And it's going to be like, damn, I waited for that. Well, the one thing that he adds that we have not seen is the range. And I would like to see
Can he shoot?
That's
I don't know.
I've been told.
I can't remember him playing.
Don't either.
It's been so long.
Been a bit. I remember fondly his college year.
He has a pretty good stroke, but I think he's one of 4 in the G League so far.
That's going to take a bit. Now, what we expect to see tonight is the traditional starting lineup for the Spurs. Okay. We're going to finally get the entire crew back together. We do expect to see the double D's going, DeJounte and Derek, Keldon Johnson, and then we get Devin Vassell and Jakob Poeltl, which looks like this is the successful lineup. This is the one that we were led to believe early on. This was going to be the most successful.
I like this lineup. You like this lineup, Caroline?
I love this lineup. This is the lineup that I've been wanting to see for a long time, especially going up against the Rockets. I think they have an opportunity to win with this lineup. I think they have a threat. Rockets, Eric Gordon scored his best shooting game of the season with the Spurs, but I don't think it's going to happen this time because they have the starting lineup in now. And I think they're going to play way better defensively than they did the last game. And just to give you guys a big clue, Eric Gordon, when he scores 18 points or more, they're 9 for 1.
9 and 1. Okay. Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about the Rockets.
Yeah.
Know your enemy.
The youth will be served as the Rockets arrive with Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, their young stud, Eric Gordon just mentioned, Jayshawn Tate, and Christian Wood, and his bounce will come in to take on the Spurs tonight.
Was it KPJ? Or is he hurt? Kevin Porter Jr.
He's playing an expected starter.
Yeah.
I like these games. These are my favorite games. Like, I don't really care about when they play the Bucks or Golden State or Phoenix. I like when they play these teams that are also trying to figure out who they are with a bunch of youth. I want to see how I want to see what our teams are going to look like when they face each other in 2-3 years down the line. Like, where are we stacking up against some of these teams that have number 2 overall pick, number 5 overall pick? Like, how does Vassell hold up against Jalen and KPJ? How does Keldon hold up against these guys? So these are the games that I look forward to because my expectations were low from the get-go. I always felt like this team was a brisket. It was going to be low and slow, and it was going to take time. I understood that. Never got my expectations too high. But the Kings, the Rockets, the Pistons, etc. These are the games I look forward to because I want to see how our youth stacks up and if we made the right decisions on who they've drafted.
And so far, what do you think? Last time we saw them, they rolled in and whooped us.
They didn't whoop us.
Well, we didn't have our guys. Yeah, we didn't have our guys.
We didn't have our guys. I think they fared well against the youth. I mean, they just beat Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. Was that Oklahoma?
Oklahoma.
They blew out Oklahoma like last week, wasn't it?
Yes.
That's
The Spurs, yes.
That's a
Spurs.
super young team. So I think they've stacked up. Well, they did have the misstep against the Pistons. I want to say they've beaten the Kings, and the Kings have gotten them once. I can't remember what their season series is. So
yeah, that was the one loss on that 4-game road trip.
There we go. So
yeah, I agree too. I think these are great games to watch to see how they're developing, and especially when you look at the Thunder game, how they blew them out. That was kind of like a shimmer of hope in a dark season, because I don't think the season has necessarily been faring well for them against great teams. I don't think they're a contender by any means. But I do think seeing them, like you said, go up against younger teams who are trying to come up as well and get their, hits in to try to become a better team, I believe that that's what they're trying to do at the moment. I think also I wanted to mention too, I don't know if you guys saw this, but Kevin Porter Jr. and DeJounte Murray, they are really, really great friends. They used to play high school basketball back in Seattle, and they shared a hug. They actually are really good friends, and they are going to be, coming together again tonight. So I'm actually excited to see how they interact with each other. That's a side note that has nothing to do with basketball.
No, it does.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a good friendship that they have, and I like the story. There was a story that came out about it. It was really, really touching to see how they both came from the struggle, and they now are both really proud of each other for coming up this together in the NBA.
Carolina Teague joining us for Shootaround. Let's look at how we feeling.
Inside the training room.
I hurt myself today.
Nice little home run. Everybody healthy.
Is it? Are we full
Well, Zach Collins is going back and forth, but at least he's playing.
I think this is a first for any team in the NBA.
Well, not only COVID protocols are with the coaches. We haven't seen Becky in quite some time.
Oh, yeah. Is Becky okay?
And Sangala was recently on along with Mitch. So
they only have to give player injury updates. I don't know. We'll have to watch the game closely to see who's on the bench.
No biggie.
But this has the look and feel of a team that's going to start getting healthy and start winning some basketball games. And this would be a nice springboard to come off a tough one. They're going to get Chicago coming in town on Friday, which should be a nice matchup. We get to welcome DeMar home.
Ja is here tomorrow.
And Ja will be here tomorrow night, and we know what Memphis has done with San Antonio. So this looks like an opportunity for them to round into form and get a couple of wins. I just start questioning what is the long-term benefit of what's about to happen. Because I can't imagine them winning themselves at any kind of playoff contention. And all we've got to do over the next couple of weeks is either shop our guys, either look around for a move or continue to show off the guys that we do or think are going to move. And I'm not sure how that plays in to the plan, but at least anybody that could be moved sits healthy today.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I feel like I feel like you're joining Team Tank. That's just kind of where I'm at right now. It sounds like you're going into the darker side of the San Antonio Spurs. Like you're Team Playoff or Team Tank. I think right now they're not going to make the playoffs, but I think the positive is that I keep saying it, but the positive is that they're going to be able to develop the team together as a whole. They're finally healthy. They get to get more chemistry and build that. And I think that's one of the most positive things you can take from it, right?
Well, CT, I don't think he's Team Tank as much as he's just like, if we do start winning games, what is like, he's not like, yo, let's go and lose the games. But if you're picking 15th, 16th, all over again, where are we? It's just going to be another player that we have to send through Austin, et cetera, et cetera. Just like, what is the long-term benefit versus I don't think he's like, Jimenez is in the comments right now, like cheering and doing jumping jacks for losses. I don't think Rob's doing that. He's just like scratching his head on like, okay, well, if we do win some games and still don't get in and still don't go anywhere, and then we're picking 13th through 17th.
Yeah. And
does that help?
Yeah, to me, it doesn't help. I'm still trying to figure out what their identity is at this point. But I believe also that they are going to have to make some moves. I mean, Lonnie Walker has been really, to me, not playing the way he needs to be playing. With the
I
exception
think Lonnie's gone.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I was trying to fight for Lonnie for a really long time.
Me too.
But and he's even in the Thunder game when everybody scored in the double digits, he only had 3 points that game. And then this past game against the 76ers, he had that good final 5 points that he made in the last 6 minutes of the game. But I don't think that's enough.
He's just too inconsistent. Yeah.
He's just too inconsistent for me. Yeah. So I think they are going to definitely have to make moves in the offseason and trades. But I mean, I just don't know what their plan is at the moment.
Right.
As the Spurs sit, they could draft a guy that you could not justify putting in the G League, that you could not justify putting anywhere on the roster in game.
Yeah, top 5 pick. He's playing tomorrow.
As they sit today. Now, I don't know exactly who they chase.
Right.
But everything from Keegan Murray and above are available, and you never know which dominoes fall in the right place and which ping pong ball helps out. She is Carolina Teague.
Talk to you tomorrow,
She is our Spurs insider, and she will be back again tomorrow as we prepare for Ja and the Grizz. Let's see if the Spurs can get off the slide and take down the Rockets. Thanks for stopping by, Carolina. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. See you tomorrow.
Carolina Teague stops by as our Spurs insider. We'll continue talking Spurs, look around the NBA.